Hello everyone. So welcome you all to Ashok Tutorials, Meghalaya's first MTech channel. So my dear friends, today in this video, we are going to see paper 2, that is UP section science subject, right? And the topic we have here to discuss about is learning teaching resources or teaching learning resources, use of local resources, textbooks, ICT, laboratories, field trips, films, and science exhibitions. So these are the teaching learning resources we are going to discuss about in this video. So first of all, we have here learning and teaching resources are essential tools that educators use to facilitate effective learning experiences for students. Now, what does it say? It says that learning and teaching resources are important, is required by the educators, by the teachers, by the professors, by the lecturers. Why? So that they can make their teaching a very effective one, a very, you know, interesting one, and through their teaching and their tactics, the students will be engaged in the process of teaching and learning, and they will be interested and they will be able to pay the attention and they will be able to learn and understand, comprehend, and apply whatever they learn in the classroom, because there are different types of learners sitting in the classroom, right? Some might have uh, different type of disabilities also are there. Some are creative students, some are intelligent, some are underachievers, some are visually impaired, some are physically abled, or different individual differences are always there inside the class. Yes or no? So individual differences are always there in the class. So some students might learn better by audiovisual aids, some students might learn better by audio, some by hands-on activities, some by doing experiments, some by assignments, some by performing activities, some by laboratory process, right? So there are different types of learners, and according to the needs of the learners, the teacher, they require to use their teaching and learning materials. Now these resources can vary widely and may include local resources, textbooks, information and communication technology, laboratories, field trips, films, and science exhibitions. Now these resources or teaching learning resources can be different types, right? It can be local resources, so whatever the resources are available in your area, in a local network that you can make use of. Then you can make use of textbooks that we all understand, right? Since even in our school days we have been using textbook, yes or no? Then ICT is now very famous, right? Because our classrooms are digital nowadays. We have smart class, smart board, projector. So we are making use of that, those things, right? Like laptop, we have the computers, we have the mobile phones we have. So all these we can use in order to learn ICT, information and communication technology. Then laboratories, of course you understand, for social science subject, even for mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, what do we use? We make use of labs. We go to the laboratory and perform the experiments, right? In chemistry we might perform titration, then types of salt, inorganic, organic salts. Then about biology, we can perform some kind of anatomy study, or chromatography. So this type of experiments we can perform in the biology class, and in the physics class we can perform some experiments like about the prism we can study, right? Or reflection and refraction of light. So these things we can study. And in the social science class you may make the globe as your model, or you can make, what do we call it, the mountains and all valleys, and also different things we can do in the lab. Then field trips are useful for all different types of learners, because we enjoy, because always sitting whole throughout the year, if we are sitting just inside the classroom, then we feel bored, and we need something. We human beings, we always need variations. So in our class, if teachers are taking us outside for the field trips, for the real experience, right, whatever we are learning, if they are taking us to the field trip, suppose we are learning about animals and they take us to the zoo, if we are learning about plants and they take us to the botanical garden, so these things are going to help us in the long run, yes or no? Then films, So you can watch different type of videos. Right now also you're watching a film, which means you are watching the video of Ashok tutorial, which is also like a film to you, right? You can hear my voice, you can look at the screen, you can hear my emotions, my voice modulations. So all these things you are understanding, yes or no? Then science exhibitions, of course I really personally love to take part in active part in science exhibitions. So even in my school days, in my college days, I have won many science exhibition competitions. So I have personally have very much interested in science exhibition. So during science exhibition, what happens is that you will make models in groups or alone also, no problem. And then during the competition you will go to the venue and you will explain about the model, how your model is going to benefit the society at large, and how it functions, and what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages. So all those things you will explain to the teachers or the judges or the invigilators, right? Now we have some examples. Local resources. So if I ask you what are local resources, then you can give these examples. A geography class studying local ecosystem can make use of nearby parks, forests, or bodies of water for hands-on learning. Students can observe local flora and fauna, collect samples, and conduct experiment. Now you see local resources. Of course, we live in a society, we live in an ecosystem, right? So we can make use of plants, we can make use of the forest, we can make use of the parks or water bodies like rivers, ponds, lakes, yes or no? And we can collect the water. Suppose if we want to study about the water which is safe for drinking, then you can collect the water from pond, rivers, streams, then lakes, right? And you can do the experiment. Then we can also try to observe the different types, species, genus of plants we have, the different species of animals we have, then collect the samples of the animals or the flowers or the plants, and then we can conduct the experiment, yes or no? Flora means what? Flora means plants. Fauna means animal, right? Now textbooks. Example, in a history class, a textbook provides a structured curriculum and historical narratives to help students understand and contextualize events. For instance, a history textbook might cover the cause and effects of World War II or One. So textbook, I don't even have to explain to you what a textbook is. Textbook is, we have different textbook in our school, yes or no? We have science textbook, maths textbook, social science textbook, health education, computer, English, Garo, Khasi, yes or no? So what do we find there? We find different type of content, preface, tables, charts, diagrams, pictures, question and answers, exercises, yes or no? So these are the things we get in a textbook. And how textbook help us? Textbook contains a lot of information. Suppose if we are studying about the world wars, then there will be a lot of information about World War One, World War Two. If we are studying about algebra, then there will be different formulas of algebra, right? If we are studying about trigonometry, then there will be different type of trigonometric formulas, and how to do it, exercises will be there, practice sets will be there. And if we are studying about science, then in science textbook you see physics, chemistry, biology. Then in physics you might find different chapters like reflection of light, then you might find the human eye and the colorful world, right? Then in chemistry you might find states of matter, in biology you might find cells, reproduction, right? So these are the things we find in the textbook. A lot of information is given in the textbook, yes or no? Now ICT, information and communication technology. Example, a language class can use language learning apps or online platforms like Duolingo to enhance vocabulary and pronunciation skills. ICT can also be used for virtual field trips, interactive simulations, or video conferencing with experts. Now you see, ICT means information and communication technology, which means it's digital, right? So suppose in an English class, in a Khasi class, or in a Garo class, what happens is that we can make use. Suppose I want to learn something. Suppose if I want to know the meaning of the word student in Garo, and I want to translate that in Khasi, or if I know in English student and I want to translate it to Garo, so I can make use of dictionaries. Of course, at this present moment, it's very difficult, very hard to find, but still we have Garo to English dictionaries, yes or no? So we can make use of those. Then we can make use of different type of apps which will help in our learning vocabulary, antonyms, synonyms, right? Pronunciation skills, so we can improve that. And we can also go for Virtual field trip. See, virtual field trip means what? See, during COVID pandemic, you have seen that we had virtual concerts. Yes or no? The artist, they are sitting in a studio or they are sitting at home and they are performing. They are singing. They are performing, and we are sitting at home and watching. Of course, we cannot go that time for public gathering. Yes or no? So that is called virtual, which means you are not exactly present in the physical nature, but you are there only virtually, which means only through the screen or digital means you are connected to that person. Right now you are connected with me virtually, right? You cannot see me. Even if you see me in video, it does not mean that I am present at that moment nearby you. Not like that, right? I am away. I am not there physically. Only my voice, only my face are there, right? It's like that. Laboratories. Example, in a chemistry class, students can perform experiments in a well-equipped laboratory. They may conduct titrations to determine the concentration of solutions to synthesize compounds to understand chemical reactions. Now you see, laboratories, as I told you, we have chemistry lab, we have physics lab, we have biology lab, we have botany lab, we have zoology lab. Yes or no? So according to the subject, the equipments are there, the tools are there. Yes or no? So in a chemistry lab, we may have the conical flask, we may have the titration flask, we may have the pipette, we may have the beaker, we may have the volumetric flask. Yes or no? Then burner, salts. So these things we can have. And in a physics laboratory, you might have the mirrors, the prism, then what else can you have? You can have different electrical equipments like the ammeter, ohm meter, voltmeter. Yes or no? Then in biology class, you can have the skeletal system of human beings. Then you can have the, what do we call it, the species which are preserved, right? Preserved species of plants or animals, fossils. So these things you can have, right? Now field trips. Field trips we all enjoy. I enjoy. I believe you also enjoy field trips. So example, a biology class might take a field trip to a local nature reserve to observe various ecosystems. Students can collect samples, identify plants and animal species, and learn about biodiversity in a real world context. Now you see, field trips means you will take the students outside, maybe to a park, maybe to a zoo, maybe to a garden, and there, according to the area of your teaching in the class, you can ask the students to collect the plant samples or animal samples or insect samples, and they will experience the learning from, like, they will experience the learning not only inside the classroom, but they will be able to connect the learning of the classroom with the outside world, which means they are learning in the real situation. So we all know that we should always try to connect the classroom learning with the outside world. Yes or no? Now films. Example, in a literature class, watching a film adaptation of a novel can provide visuals and auditory stimuli that enhance the understanding of the story's themes, character, and settings. For example, student may watch the film version of To Kill a Mockingbird after reading the book. So you know films, we all love to watch films, yes or no? Three Idiots, we watch. Two States, we watch. Titanic, we watch, right? So all these movies we are watching. And like Romeo and Juliet. So in Romeo and Juliet, what happens? It is boring sometimes to read the book. You might find it boring that, oh, I don't want to read the book, it's very boring. But if you are watching the movie Romeo and Juliet, that means you don't need to read the book. You can enjoy the sound, the acting, the actions, or the romance, whatever it's written in the book, that will be performed in the form of a video, right, by the artist. So that becomes very interesting. So novels, if it is present in the form of films, it becomes very interesting, right? Science exhibitions. So now science exhibition means an educational institution can organize a science exhibition where students showcase their projects and experiments. For instance, students can present models of renewable energy resources, demonstration of physics principles, or innovative technological solutions. This is what I already explained to you what a science exhibition is. Science exhibition means the students, they can make their models of any choice, like renewable energy, tidal energy, hydro energy, solar system. So anything as per their interest, they can make the models, projects, and they can explain it to anyone who is coming, the students, the supervisor, the invigilators, right? And the best model and the best performance by the student will get the award, right, or the prize or the certificates. Yes or no? The effective use of these resources in teaching can cater to diverse learning styles and provide students with well-rounded and engaging education. It's important for educators to select and integrate these resources thoroughly to enhance the learning experience and promote critical thinking and understanding among their students. Now you see, these learning, teaching, and learning materials will enhance, will make our teaching and learning effective. The students will understand better because they are involved. They are taking part actually in the real world situation. They are making use of different teaching learning materials, ICT, laboratory projects, assignments, right? Then audiovisual aids, videos, films, science exhibitions. So all these things makes the learning and teaching process interesting, right? We don't feel bored, field trips and all, we enjoy, we get time to get together. Then we see our teachers outside the class and we see students outside the class. So inside the class we are different and outside the class we are different. Inside the class we are formal, outside the class we are informal, right? So when we go with teachers outside the classroom, then the bonding becomes stronger. The teachers, they know our nature, we know teachers nature. Inside the classroom it's what do we call it, standardized class, or a class which is planned. Or there was one term used to mention such classes where everything is planned, it is fixed. But once we go outside the classroom, then it is natural, right? Yes or no? It's natural. So there we behave as we want to behave. We talk as we want to talk. Of course, with respect and dignity, but we are natural, right? But the classroom setting is not a natural one, it is a planned one. Actually, there was one term, what do we call it? I forgot. What classroom? Oh, controlled class, yes. So controlled class. So the classes which we normally go to, that is controlled class, which means it is controlled, we know everything what will happen, what will not. But uncontrolled, or the actual classroom or the informal classroom, is something where we don't know what is the next step, right? So I think this is all in this video. So thank you everyone for staying connected with the Ashok Tutorials, Meghalaya's first MTech channel. Thank you.